What's up, guys? Cuz Bad Guys here, back with another video. This is going to be me going over the Empire of Man army for the channel. And remember to like and subscribe. It helps the channel out. So let's go over the Empire army for the channel. This is a lot of boxes, right? So I haven't put together a single model for the Empire army just yet. And I didn't just randomly buy all of these boxes. So I've been collecting these boxes over the last year and a half. I started collecting these the beginning of 2023. I would just go to my local game store and buy the Cities of Sigmar boxes that they had for Empire stuff because I knew the Old World was coming out. And I wanted to be able to have some kind of army to represent good guys. I know that the channel's called Cuz Bad Guys, but I've got to have an army that is good guys to try to hold back the unsavory hordes of bad guys and their characters and the ilk. That being said, I previously had a Bretonnian army, and I know that Bretonnians are the new poster child for Old World. I didn't want to reiterate history, and I wanted more of a standard human army. So I wanted to be able to play like foot troops and a gun line and good cav and monsters. I wanted to be able to play all of that stuff, and I thought the Empire had a better depth to the army than Bretonnians did, so that's why I went with the Empire. That being said, let's go through what all these boxes are. So we'll go ahead and start over here. So these are going to be great swords, which I think are an awesome kit for an infantry unit that is just human. So total, I've got 6 boxes of great swords, so this is going to be enough to build 60 great swords. I figured 2 units of 30 is probably the most I would ever want. And that's a solid block of elite infantry. Moving on, we've got the handgunner / crossbowman kits. I've got 8 of these, so I've got enough to be able to do 80 handgunner / crossbowmen. Like I said, with a gun line, I wanted to be able to do a Napoleon style gun line and just do a ton of muskets with some cannons and some mortars and just play Napoleon. And I think that would be a ton of fun. Is it going to be very good? Probably not. It'll be a blast though on the tabletop. Then the models that I actually had a really hard time trying to get. So there was only ever 1 box of Empire State Troops at my local game store. I looked online, I looked at 3D prints, I looked at a ton of other different sellers for state troop variants. I didn't want to pay eBay costs for these guys because the cost is just too high. The best model that I was able to find outside of 3D printed stuff was this Renaissance Conquistadors box. So the sweet thing about this box is that it comes with 24 dudes. It's like half the cost compared to other GW boxes for the quantity of guys that you actually get. And you can custom make these guys with swords, spears, halberds, crossbows, muskets, and then there's also additional options for pikes and 2-handed swords. So you would be able to make great swords, you would be able to make handgunners and crossbows, you'd be able to do halberds, spearmen, all the different things for infantry for the Empire out of this box. I did pull out a sprue and a sprue from the Empire State Troops. So this is the Empire State Troop sprue, and then this is the Conquistadors. And if you hold the 2 different kits up next to each other, the bodies are the exact same size. So these guys being based next to each other I don't think you'll be able to tell the difference between them on the tabletop at all. The Conquistadors do have these circles that they're based on, but my plan is to just take clippers and cut those circles off to make it so these guys truly blend together. So there's going to be no way to tell the difference between the two kits. This is probably one of the best finds that I've had for kits that are compatible with Old World that will just blend in on the tabletop. So that's 10 models plus 48 models. So just about 60 models for state troops. I'm planning on making maybe a dozen halberdiers as a detachment unit, and then the rest will be spearmen. Spearmen with spears and shields. Because I think spears and shields, they look really, really cool on the tabletop when they're all ranked together and they've got all those spearheads up in the air. And because of the supporting attacks, it's one of the better units to be able to use as humans with the low stat line that they actually have. Moving on to our cavalry. So the cavalry, I do have one box of Demigryph Knights. So we've got 3 Demigryph Knights. I would like to have more, but just the 3 I think is relatively to what a true army would actually have. Like, I want this to, when it's all put together and painted and set on the table, it actually looks like an army that would garrison a big city. And I don't think a big city, like a generic big city, would have a ton of demigryphs. So I would want it to look more like a truly cohesive army that would be in reality. Moving on to the knights. So same problem with the state troops. I didn't want to pay eBay costs and stuff for some knights, and these knights are I think the detail on them is pretty great. I'm going to downtone them just a little bit by removing some of the iconography and stuff and the over-the-top things that are on their helmets and stuff to kind of simplify them just a little bit. Because I think the Age of Sigmar stuff sometimes can be too much for what Old World actually wants to reflect. But that being said, we've got 15 knights, enough to be able to make 3 units of 5 or 2 units of 7. I think these are great models and good additions to the army. Just like I said, I want it to reflect a true garrison of a city, and I don't think you would have a ton of knights. It would be more infantry based. Then we've got the Pistoliers and the Outriders. So I've got 3 boxes of Pistoliers / Outriders. I know Pistoliers have what is it? The new animosity thing? I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head. Where you have to roll a dice and see if they just declare charge. I know Pistoliers have a bad rap right now, and these will probably be 10 Outriders and then 5 Pistoliers. But Outriders, I think, are really, really, really good. Stand and shoot, multiple shots, all the things. And then moving on to War Machines. So we've got 2 steam tanks. I know right now at 2,000 points you can't run 2 steam tanks. But if in the future it goes up to 2,400 or 2,500 points, then this would enable me to be able to play 2 steam tanks. Is a steam tank mandatory in the Empire list? I don't think that it is. It's a really strong unit. It's also a ton of points. So I've been playing with some lists, and I'm not sure if I'm going to take a steam tank. It's, I know, controversial take. Moving on to other War Machines. We've got 2 boxes of the Hellblaster Volley Gun and the Rocket Battery. I'm going to be magnetizing these, so they're going to be able to switch in and out of being either rocket batteries or Hellblaster volley guns. And then cannons. I wanted all of my cannons to be the same model, so that's the reason why I've got 3 of these iron weld great cannons. I've seen a customization of this kit of not putting on the boards in the front, and it looks like a bombard, and then you can magnetize the barrel with this barrel here, and this barrel points up, so it's a mortar, like up and at an angle. So I would be able to magnetize these to be either bombard looking great cannons or mortars, which is pretty cool. Like, I was surprised when I saw that customization kit, like the modeling for it. Just like I said, Age of Sigmar stuff has way too much stuff going on it. So this crane I won't be using. The guys I'll simplify to make them look more old worldy. The shield won't go on here, just so to simplify the look of the stuff. With all these guns and steam tanks and war machines, I don't know if I'm going to theme the paint scheme on these guys as Nuln, just because I have so much black powder stuff. Nuln is a pretty sweet paint scheme. We'll see what I end up painting it. Give me some suggestions on what you think I should do. Should they be regimented? Should it be a unified theme? What are your thoughts? So moving on to characters. Along with not having models to the range for the cannons and the knights and stuff, I was stuck on how to do wizards for this army. I know that they have the College Arcanum box, which I have one of them, so this is 4 wizards on foot, but that doesn't answer the question of wizards on mounts, so like Pegasus, regular horses, that kind of stuff. And brainstorming over the last little bit, I came up with using models from the Lord of the Rings range, and using ring wraiths, because these are readily available. You can get these at a local store. So, and the Witch King is a plastic kit. So, and then inside of one of these boxes, you get 3 ring wraiths, 3 on foot and 3 on horses. And I have all 9 of them because I play Lord of the Rings as well. So I have 9 ring wraiths, and I think ring wraiths running around with the army, I think it just sounds cool, and it splashes in bad guys into my good guy army. I just really like what that theme would be. Moving on, again, Age of Sigmar kit. I'm going to model this guy to be a battle standard bearer, so I'll take this like little cabinet with a head on it off and then put a banner on here, so he'll be like a little squire kid with a banner. And then general, this is a great looking model. I like how you can customize what he looks like, so helmed or not helmed, and shield to pistols, like all the different things. Is cool that this kit is so customizable. Then this is a Stormcast Eternal kit. I've seen a lot of kit bashes of this kit, particularly making commanders on demigryphs. So I'm planning on making this guy be a demigryph commander to go with the demigryph knights. Excited about this kit bash. Then again, another Age of Sigmar kit. These are going to be just some maybe officers or witch hunters, just additional models to be able to make characters that kind of stand out from my rank and file. Then on to bigger things. So a buddy of mine at the game store that I go to had an extra griffin. This is a high elf griffin from, I think, the Blood Island starter box or something like that. My plan is to remodel him just a little bit to make him a little beefier. I don't know if I'll use a different torso or something from one of the other kits and put him on here and then use a different head to make it so he just looks a little beefier. And this will be a like either a captain on a Griffin or a general of the Empire on a Griffin. Excited that I was able to get my hands on this this model. Then I've got Karl Franz on Deathclaw, which I'm planning on, as well as this Griffin, making this one a general of the Empire or a captain on an Imperial Griffin, and then magnetizing the torso to make it so you can swap torsos to have him be a wizard. So excited for this model. I think this model is actually super sick looking, looks really cool. And this model is available on the GW website. Then the Hurricanum, however you say this. I know this model actually isn't in the Old World range, but that's not what I'm planning on using it for. This is going to be an Elector of Sigmar on a War Altar for me. So I'm going to be taking liberties in customizing the chariot that he's standing on and making my own War Altar. Because again, I don't want to pay eBay prices for War Altar. So those are the models for the Empire Army. What are your thoughts of the modeling ideas? What are your thoughts of using the Conquistadors for line infantry? What models are you using? And how do you think I should paint this? Like and subscribe. And remember, 'cause bad guys.